don't know, one of the things that excites me about incremental is that, and one of the reasons that I really wanted to set it up is because I think a lot of the time, you look at the media and you look at, whatever, social media channels or and we're fed this lie of life, what life should look like, what we should look like, what we should earn, what we should, and it puts pressure on people because, with the best will in the world, we are social creatures and we are, influenced by, our social group, by wider society. And that's a good thing, right? I mean, in a lot of ways, that's a good thing. But I think the thing for me was that it's this, you should, or, oh, hey, you could look like this, or whatever it might be. And I think the thing for me is that if you tell somebody, right, you should look like this, and they don't look like that at all, right? If you tell somebody they should be 12% body fat, and at the moment they're 45% body fat, which is massive, but how big a jump is that? Where in their experience or in their mind is that going to be a possibility? And so what I wanted to do with incremental and what I'm hoping to achieve with the company is to bring it back to the individual and say, look, what's your goal? What are the areas of friction for you? What are the areas where, something's good and you want it great, where it's not so good and you want it better? What does that look like to you? And is that something you genuinely believe you could achieve? And if it's not, pull it a little closer, right? If you're 30% body fat and you've decided you want to be 12% body fat, right? Is 12%? Do you think genuinely you can achieve that? Well, great if you do. If not, say, well, could I be 25% body fat or could I be 20% body fat? And you just pull it closer. So now you've got your goal and you're clear on your goal. This is, and it's got to be, you've got all those smart, the smart things that we say about goals. It's got to be specific and measurable and all of that stuff. But then you say, right, well, okay, and that's great. That's your goal. And this is where you are right now. How are you going to get there? And it's like, well, even if it's like 30 to 25%, 30 is a lot of body fat. 25% is still a lot of body fat, but it's 5% less. So, that's a good thing. But does somebody who's 30% body fat, they've got to believe they can get there. And then they've got to know how they can get there. So the idea with incremental is that we say, right, in the next 24 hours, what could you do that gets you one step closer to that, half a step closer to that? And then you start mapping those and you say, right, tomorrow, so for this week, what are my things that I'm going to do? What are the things that I commit to? And it's only got to be one thing. Right? If you want to do more, do more. But, for me, make it simple, make it easy, because the hardest thing for the human body or the human mind to do is change habits. We don't like, the brain doesn't like changing habits because it's we have habits because they're energy efficient, right? Your brain doesn't want to expend more energy on making changes. One of the kind of backdoor tricks is to make the changes so small your brain almost doesn't realize what's happening until it's happened. Right? So you say to yourself, right, so today I'm going to walk 5,000 steps instead of the 2,000 that I regularly do. Or maybe I'm going to walk 3, and the day after I might see how I'm going. I might try 3.5 or 4, and you just map that out for them. At the end of the week, you say, how many of my things did I hit? That's awesome. Is my goal still the same? Okay, fine. If it is, great. If it's not, it's something else. But you've got a destination, but you need a map to get to a destination, right? You need directions to get to a destination, and you need to take that. Everything in life is made up of tiny little steps. Everything. Right? And it could be anything from picking up your shopping. Your brain's got to make the decision. You've got to reach down. You've got to close your hands. You've got to stand up. It's all little steps. But all you think of it is, I got to pick the shopping up. Don't think about all the little steps because they're so little. So that's the idea behind it. And my feeling is, and I hope I'm right, is that, you know, so this I'm kind of aiming at a corporate. So my kind of gold standard program is this 12-week program. So what we'll do is we'll look at companies and we'll assess kind of where they're at on various metrics, whether that be absenteeism, employee engagement, fulfillment, you know, productivity, profitability, all of the, you know, and see how the company's doing at the moment. Because if the company's doing good, could it be better? If the company's not so great, could it be good? And, you know, so everything can improve, you know, like me training. You know, I train a minute. Now I train about 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week now. Right, and that's fine for me. Right, I'll end up doing more, but for the time being, that's what it works within my routine. It works with everything in my life. And so then, you know, we look at that and we assess that and we say, look, you know, what do you want it to look like? Because it's not my business, right? I'm just there to help. And then we'll kind of introduce the program, and then dependent on the size of the program, but we want to work in groups of people. We buddy people up, so you're getting some accountability. You start to build a bit of strength in your company culture. And then as we go through the weeks, we do what I've just explained. We say to people, right, you know what? So we have 7 elements that we look in terms of, you know, what might impact somebody's life and somebody's engagement at work. So, you know, whether it's financial or communities or relationships or health or nutrition or, you know, whatever it might be. And then we say, right, out of those, where's the one which is most important to you right now, or which 2 are most important to you right now? And then they pick whichever ones they want to pick. And then we say, right, well, you know, out of that, what are you going to do in the next 24 hours to make it a little bit better? Mm-hmm. And like I say, I mean, this is not anything that I've dreamt up. This is there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of people who've written some amazing books about it. For me, it makes sense. It works for me. You know, I do some of this stuff for myself. And you know, obviously at the end we reassess, and what we look for is that the employee engagement in what they're doing is better. And, you know, as numerous people like Richard Branson and various other kind of, you know, very successful business people, you know, it's the people that make the difference. Right? So once the people are happy, you've got them engaged, they, you know, and that you're seen to be supporting the areas in their life outside. It doesn't mean that you've got to kind of give them you know, finance is one of their issues. It doesn't mean you've got to give them a pay rise. It's just acknowledging that they're struggling. And are there ways that either you can help or In-cre-mental can help, or because what I'm planning with In-cre-mental is to have a community outside. So for me, I want to look at the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, what are the things right now that we can change, and how do we change them? And then as people get, you know, start to see their own successes. I mean, I need to get a different example because, you know, ex-PT and all he talks about is bloody fitness, but it's, you know, fitness is a good one because lots of people, I mean, we used to have people come in the gym, right? Yeah, I want to be fitter. Yeah. Well, you know, doesn't mean anything to anybody, least of all the person who's saying it. So you've got to be clear on what you want to, you know. So let's say that person wants to get to a point where they run a 5K. Okay, and they've never run before, and you know, so you know, you work on that through the program, and they get, you know, fair, and they walk more, and they feel stronger, and they feel great, and they run a 5K. Awesome, right? Now, if they get, you know, a real buzz out of that, and they suddenly decide, right, actually, this is really important to me. I really want to kind of see how far I can take this. Then the program's probably not the right maybe, but maybe not. But what I want to do is build a community around the program of individuals and businesses who can assist deeper. So when you want that kind of deeper dive into something, so with that particular example, you find somebody who trains runners, right? And you need to make sure that they're decent people, their values align with with mine and with the companies, but so that you can feel confident sending people to them and say, look, go, and because one of the things that really used to frustrate me when I was in the fitness industry was how closed off so many people were. So many trainers, because you're worried that other trainers are going to take your clients, don't want to collaborate or don't want to form a community. And I think I don't know, like I've been out of the industry for 5 years. It might be completely different now. But it used to frustrate me when I was there because, we need communities. Like I say, we're social creatures. And look, there's enough people in this world, let alone in this country, let alone in this emirate, for all of the personal trainers to have a decent living. Right? So why not collaborate? Why not share more knowledge? And I know there are organizations like Reps who try to do that, and that's great. I think personal trainers, I don't know if it's, there's something about personal trainers that makes them more paranoid, but look, that's what I want to do. And I've always seen health as health. It's a holistic thing. Like fitness is a part of health. Nutrition is a part of health. Your psychology and how you see it, your emotions and the stresses in your life, the struggle for money, the worry about jobs, the this, that, the other. They're all part. Every bit of it is linked. Right? You never going to have the best workout, if everything else around you is, not going great. So I think for me, it's that idea that I want this to be something that not only helps individuals and thereby the businesses within which they work, but that helps the wider community of people who, and look, I've been, like a couple of days I've been doing this now. And I have had nothing but support. Like the well-being, wellness, whatever community you want to say it is, and even further than that, there are some great communities. The British Business Group, which I'm a member of, is incredible. It's an incredible organisation and very supportive. So I know I'm in the right place. Because I can't stop talking about this stuff. And then literally ideas are dribbling out of my ears at the moment. And I'm just really excited about the whole thing because I feel like I've got, I found my purpose in life. And if off the back of that I can help other people find their purpose, or at least just get to a place where they're a little less stressed, or more able to be more present. Meditation's been brilliant for me, but again, one of those things, and I only do that Headspace app. Right? I do that 10 minutes every morning. I think I looked at it the other day. I've 13,000 minutes or something, and it's only, and still I have days where I can't concentrate. But it's just that drip, drip, drip effect of you just do it. You're patient. You're consistent. You're patient. You're consistent. You're patient. You're consistent, and you keep going and you keep going, and then boom, it's another one. So learning a language. So I'm rubbish at language. I'm British, so obviously I'm rubbish at languages. I've been trying to learn Spanish for about 8 years, right, on one of these on the Duolingo app, and it's gone good and bad and worse, and and there are times I've just it's like I haven't learned anything, and literally probably in about the last year, it's all started to click. That's 8 years of, 10, 15 minutes a day, when I remember to do it. And it just makes me realize that everything is about, you break it down into small enough steps, you focus on the steps, and you'll get where you're going to. At one point stage, you're going to lift your head. Oh, like me. So we had, there was some packaging or something that we had at home. It was written in Spanish. Like the instructions were written in Spanish. They were also written in English underneath, but I didn't see that. And I genuinely, my mother's life, and I read it in Spanish, and I was like, I understand that. Oh my God. Like, I understand it. And it was like, I think it was like some ant gel or something. So it wasn't like, I don't know, the boy takes the dog for a walk. It was like, it was yeah. So I was, like I say, I mean, for me, this will work for me because I can't even envisage it not working. I don't know how it will work in all the details, but this is this is my vocation. And I think all of the journey, the 16 years I've been here, the however many odd years it was before that back in the UK, all of it leads you to places. I'm like I said to you before, I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason. And a lot of the time, the really tough stuff is the stuff you need. I mean, I've had numerous examples of that in my life. But you get to look back, you get to look back and you get to see what it did for you. And, the challenging times are the ones that make you grow, and I think a lot of the time it's, we think it's nice to be comfortable. But, comfortable, you're just dying with your eyes open, I think. That's my personal opinion. I think when, it's the tough stuff that gets you where you want. And this is going to be tough. Like, I'm excited, super excited, but it's going to be really tough. Like, I'm not earning any money right now, and that's one of my triggers. So, I have to be aware of that. But I think the thing is, like I say, and I can't explain it any other way than it's a vocation, and it's something that I plan to be doing until, until I can't do anything anymore. So.